Today, I'm doing a three-part. Like I said, God has been giving me a lot of three-part series here, and today's message is going to be the rough road to better. And sometimes when we go through a rough road, it's God taking us through a rough road to get to a better place where He wants us to be. And everybody in life, I don't care if you're rich or poor, young or old, whatever the case may be, there's going to be a certain part of your life, and there might be a couple of times in your life that you're going to go through a rough road to get to where God wants you to be. But that's why it's called a rough road to better, because the rough road makes it better, makes you better, makes you a better person. See, when you go through something, and you, how can I say this? When you go through something and you lose something or you gain something, you appreciate things more when you had to work for it. You appreciate things more when it hasn't just been given to you. You appreciate things more when you earned it. It's a big difference when you get something that somebody gave you, okay, and then somebody that earned it. When you earned it and put your blood, sweat, and tears in it, you appreciate it more. And that's what this message is all about. And this message really is about the story of Joseph, because Joseph has a lot to do with this, and it has a lot to do with a lot of things in our life. So that's why I call it the rough road to better. But it's really about the story of Joseph. And if you read in Genesis 42, it will tell you all about the story of Joseph. It's so amazing on Joseph's story, and we hear about it all the time, but I don't really think we recognize and understand how important that Joseph's life it was, and how important it relates to us. And I'm going to sit up here and read this and try to break this down a little bit. What I do is, when God gives me this stuff, I write it down, and then as I'm reading it, God is telling me certain things to say. So that's why when you hear me stutter sometimes, I stop and whatnot, because I'm reading it, and God is also giving me insight on certain things. It says Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. Okay, Joseph was 30 years old. I want to make a significance to this, because this is so important, and I'm going to talk about this a little later. Joseph was 30 years old when he stood in front of Pharaoh, remember, because Pharaoh locked Joseph up, threw him in the prison and whatnot, because his wife set up here and lied on him and everything else and whatnot. And he was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh to tell Pharaoh about his dream. It's amazing, because Jesus also was 30 years old when he came into to who he was. It's just so amazing between the two stories, and I'm going to get into it a little later. Jacob, the father of Joseph, told his sons to go to Egypt to buy corn and rice so they would live and not die. Okay? Joseph was the governor over the land. Joseph was the governor over the land of Egypt. Okay? The brothers went to Egypt but did not recognize Joseph and went before him trying to buy food. Okay? They didn't recognize Joseph. Now, these are the same brothers that threw Joseph in the pit and tried to kill him. These are the same brothers that sold him. Okay? And now they had to confront Joseph, but they didn't know it was Joseph. You remember, this was years into the making and whatnot. So they didn't recognize Joseph. He looked totally different. The brother that they left and whatnot, they sold into slavery. They tried to kill and throw in the pit, was totally different from the Joseph that they standing before now. So they didn't recognize him. And God showed me this, something about Joseph, Joseph never seek revenge. He never seeked revenge. Okay? God showed me how we as people, we use relationships as transactions. Hear what I'm saying? And when God gave me this, it was so amazing. We as people use relationships as transactions. Isn't that something? And I don't even think that we even understand that we even do it. We go about life if we're going about using transactions in life. And okay, what that means is everything that we do in life, we use it as a transaction in life. Okay? You give me, I give you. Something for something. Isn't that amazing? And if you look at it, it's so true. Because if you don't do for me, I won't do for you. And how many of us are like that? How many of us know people like that? You give me this and I'll give you that. You don't do for me this and I don't do for that. You don't show me love, I don't show you love. If you don't show me forgiveness, I don't show you forgiveness. If you don't show me mercy, I don't show you mercy. It's a transaction of life that we go through, and we use that transaction in everyday life. And this is what God is showing me. Okay? We read about Joseph, but we really don't realize the things that Joseph went through. Joseph never got bitter and never seek revenge. Hear what I'm saying? Joseph never got bitter and never seek revenge. Out of all the stuff that his brothers did, out of all the stuff that Pharaoh's wife lied on him about, out of all the stuff that when he was in prison and whatnot, that things that happened to him, he never got bitter and he never seek revenge. He always had forgiveness. How many of us can say that? Because not too many of us can say that. Okay? He always had forgiveness. He always used what God gave him for the good, and that was his gift from God. Hear what I'm saying? He always used what God has given him for good, and that was his gift from God. See, we all have a gift, okay? But the thing is, what are you going to use it for? Are you going to use it for good? Are you going to use it for bad? Are you not even going to use it at all? And God showed me the reason why we have so many problems is because we operate in transactions. The reason why we have so many problems is because we operate in transactions. Hear what I'm saying? Okay? We operate in hate, not in love, not in forgiveness, bad behavior. Okay? We don't operate in the gift that God has given us. Isn't that crazy? I have to say this again because it's so important. We have so many problems because we operate in hate, not in love, not in forgiveness, bad behavior. Okay, we don't operate the gift that God has given us. Isn't that something? We do not use the gift that God has given us, and we operate in that. We operate in transactions, okay? And this is what God is showing me. We see that people, okay, we see people that have more than you do, or more than we do, okay? And we get jealous. Have you ever sit up here, and I'm pretty sure most of us have done it, we see people running around nice cars, nice houses and whatnot. And yeah, sometimes we do get jealous and we like, they don't deserve it and they shouldn't get this and they shouldn't get that, and we get jealous, we get jealous over what somebody else have. Okay. And we sometimes talk about them, but see, we don't know what they had to go through to get where they are and get what they have. Okay. We don't know. We see the good stuff, the fine cars, the houses and everything else. But you don't know what that person had to go through. You don't know what that person sacrificed to get what they had to do. Okay? Every person born with a silver spoon in their mouth, if they want to be better, hear what I'm saying? Every person born with a silver spoon in their mouth, if they want to be better. Okay? That's what this whole thing is. If they want to be better. They are going to go through a rough road somewhere along in their life, because if they don't go through a rough road to get better, they will lose everything that they have. Now, I'm talking about people with silver spoons, people who've been privileged and whatnot, okay? Even those people that have been privileged and everything else and whatnot is going to go through a rough road if they want to get better. Now, if they don't want to get better, that's a whole different ball game. They got their own different things and circumstances that God will deal with. But if they want to get better, they're going to go through a rough road, okay, to get better. Or they'll lose everything that they have. And that's what I just said. if they don't go through a rough road to get better, they're going to lose everything that they have. And how many times have we seen people that have everything and whatnot, okay, and it seems like they don't go through nothing, and they just go through life with no problem and whatnot, and they don't seem to go through a rough road, and somewhere along the line they wind up losing things. It's just like everything just coming, they just lose it. It's just kind of crazy. See, God give us all a gift, but what are you doing with your gift? God has given us all a gift, but what are you doing with your gift? Are you going to use your gift for good? Are you going to lose your gift by letting someone take your gift, okay, that God has given you away from you? Let me see if I can say this a little better. Are you going to use your gift that God gave you, okay, for good? Or are you going to lose your gift and let someone take your gift that God has given to you away from you? See, because sometimes you can sit up here and have a gift and you don't, and you let somebody take your gift away from you, because you can let somebody take your gift from you by not using it for good, by not using it for what God tells you what He wants, and this is what this is saying, Or are you gonna allow somebody to steal your gift from you? Are you going to use your gift for what God wants you to do? See, somebody can also steal your gift from you. See, we keep thinking that nobody can make us lose our gift, or somebody can't steal your gift. Yeah, you really can. When you're not operating under God, yes, you can. You can lose your gift. You can allow somebody to steal your gift if you don't use your gift for what God wants you to do. Sometimes we give up on our gift because we allow people to talk us out of our gift. Isn't that crazy? Sometimes you will lose your gift because you will allow people to talk you out of your gift. And I see it every day. I see people that have gifts. How many people in the street that have gifts, okay? And somebody allowed them, tell them that, oh, I can't sing, or no, you can't speak, or no, you can't do this and you can't do that and whatnot. And they listen to that and they wind up losing their gift. You got so many people out here that's homeless, so many people that's in poverty because they have a gift that God gave them and they're not using it because they allowed somebody to talk them out of this. Isn't that crazy? We also think that we also think what happens. Let me see if I can break this out. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go into the part 2 on this and break this down a little bit and whatnot, because this is real important. And like I said, this probably be a 3-part series. So I'm gonna go into part 2 on this one and break this thing down a little bit. So.